Good morning, everyone. It's Jazz. It's the West Ham Irons channel. Crisp, sunny Sunday morning. And obviously, it's match day morning, isn't it, everyone? It's West Ham's first home game of the new season against our London neighbours, Chelsea, later on this afternoon. Will be very, very interesting to see how we do, how we set up, and obviously who will be in the starting lineup. Will it be Mr. Prowse, who for me has to be in? Alvarez for me has to be in at a minimum. And we'll see how it goes. London derbies can go either way. Obviously not a good start as far as I was concerned with the 1-1 Bournemouth draw. And watching some of the other games, it's going to be pretty tough this season. But definitely need a point today. And then we could look forward, add more faces to the team. And just see how the season goes, to be fair. And in this show, we're going to go through some of the more developments in the transfer window where, obviously just over a week to go, isn't it? End of the month is the end of the window. So, we have left it a bit late. We do need a lot of faces through the door. And every day, as you will know with this show, we are being linked with more than one name. I mean, I'm going to go through stories on 5-6 players. I mean, that's just an example of the amount of stories that are going around involving our club, really. So in this transfer news update, it's going to be 5-6 names I'm going to talk to you about. So without further delay, let's crack on with the first one, and the one that really is probably number one, isn't it, in the media regarding West Ham news, certainly what the fans are reading and looking into. It's the Paqueta update, really. And again, there's been more updates overnight from one or two really good sources, including ex-employee and people like that. But if we go to the beginning, I mean, Paqueta, as far as we know, and I'm going to stick my head out there, the transfer to Man City, I think, is finished for now. I mean, there were rumours that it was kind of 10% still on, 5% still on. But I think, from what I've read, and my gut feeling is that the transfer is off. I don't think Manchester City want to get involved in this story that's developing. And obviously, if they do have him, the fee's going to be close to 70-80 million. It's a very high outlay, a highly risky move. And I don't think Man City at this stage are that desperate they want to go in for him. I mean, the Man City can buy and attract whoever they want in the world. So Paqueta, understandably, wants to join big time. Obviously, more stories linked with that is that since April, apparently his agents, I think he changed agents, and these agents have been going all around the world trying to sell Paqueta, really, for one reason or another. And Paqueta's probably, I don't know, listen, it's just what I know, what I've read, and that kind of thing, is that he's using this as a stepping stone, trying to get into the Champions League teams. And again, my feeling that once Rice moved on, he's naturally obviously in touch with the West Ham team, giving them a call. And as buddies, you say, how's it doing, mate? And Rice is obviously saying things like, it's unbelievable here. We're set up, we're trying to win every game. We attack. We've got a great squad here, young, fit, strong, pressing game, the way football should be. Great facilities, great manager. You guys should also go and move to similar club. I don't know. Maybe those discussions happen. Maybe heads get turned. I don't know. My gut feeling is I would not want to play for David Moyes, It's just not the way football is. Like I've discussed before, you want to play attacking football, be on the front foot and try to win matches instead of trying to contain them and then try to get a 1-0 win or a draw, that kind of thing, really. So for me, I think the Man City Paqueta move is off. Again, more news coming out sort of recently is that, our own sponsors, Betfair, are the ones that highlighted the issue when he got a yellow card against Aston Villa. And they've linked it all the way back to the island he's from. There's an island off the mainland of Brazil he's from. And some family members could be involved. Betfair kind of highlighted the issue because the amount and the number of bets that were going on him getting a yellow card. And of course, he got a yellow card. I think it was in the first half at Aston Villa. I have seen the footage back. Can't really say either way whether it looks quite deliberate or not, but anyway, it happened. And investigations are being done at the moment. And we obviously know with Tony, the Brentford guy, I think he got 6 to 8 month ban. Lucky for him, a lot of those time was during the pre-season, so kind of got spent without any games being scheduled. Paqueta, so he's going to be more or less investigated. But again, my gut feeling on this one is he hasn't directly placed any bets, right? It's his family members, and in court he can easily say, "It, I can't control everyone. Long as I don't do it, it shouldn't come back to me." And it's hard to prove in court anything further than that. So I think it's going to be a bit of a slap on the wrist. Don't know if it could be a fine. At worst, it might be a very, very small 1 or 2 game fine is my feeling. But then again, West Ham not being a top 4, top 6 super club, we are dealt sometimes differently than the big guns. So we'll see. So for me, I think good news is he'll stay. Bad news is what mental state is he in? Obviously, with the Man City move collapsing, a lot of players say their mind isn't in the right place. Then this court case comes along. That could further damage the mental state. I don't know. I hope he's in the team, because you do remember me. And I'm always fair. When I knock people, I always say I was wrong or I changed my mind on things. That's honesty, right? And I didn't like him for the large part the way he started for West Ham. You know, I know he wasn't getting a lot of games in a row and taken off early, but for me, he didn't really look like a £50 million player or record signing player for me. But certainly towards the latter end of the season, and certainly one of the few sparks in the Bournemouth game for me was him. You know, he's willingly looking for the ball, trying to make things happen, got a lot of skill on him. He gets you off your seat. Not your typical CDM, but then, yeah, it's a very rare player to get who's got skill and can put his foot in, has got better skill about him. I think Ian Bishop was one of the other ones I remember from 89, 90 onwards when I started watching West Ham live. There's very few players. John Monker's another one who had a bit of skill, could also stick his foot in. So there's not many of them around. And I think it looks like a good signing now. Eventually he has settled down and looks like, yeah, we're going to see some good play from him. And he will be one of our main players, really. So I think that's how far this is going to go. City deal for me is definitely off. There is an 85 million clause next summer. Let's see what happens. I think he could be gone by then. Obviously, if the clause is met, there's nothing we can do. So very, very likely he'll go next summer. By then, this will be all cleared up. But for now, I think the good news is, yeah, City deal off. And I think he won't be banned because he hasn't placed a bet directly himself. According to what we know so far, it's his family, and they can't prove that he made him do it or he told them, I'm going to deliberately get a yellow card, put that bet on. Obviously, if they've never put a bet on before or after about yellow cards, that doesn't look good either. But I think in court, there's too many doubts and not enough clarity to really kind of ban him and things like that, really. So that's kind of my call on that one. The next one is back to the transfer news. Mohamed Kudos, the Ajax. Exciting, fast-paced, skillful 23-year-old who can play in a 4-3-3. He would play in the middle behind the front three, and similarly in a 4-2-3-1. He'll kind of play in the middle or on the right side, which is kind of Bowen's area, really. So again, I'm getting worried about something which I'll talk about with another player, but certainly with Kudos more than any other player linked. The idea is that, yeah, Paqueta stays, so we're still going to go ahead with this deal. We are €5 million or pounds away from agreement. I think they're looking at the 35 million ball mark. Whether we're off the 30, I don't know, but we're getting close. But again, we want this done ASAP. You know, there's not that much time left and games are going, and we need as much help as possible. And yeah, I think this one could happen. Yeah, irrespective of what happens to Paqueta, that's even better for us. But my worry, what I'm hearing about this deal, is that hopefully it's over the line and David Moyes wants to play him up front. And I'm not sure about that again. He hasn't really done it for Ajax. He plays in midfield. He's a Bowen type of positioning player. I don't want to play him up front. I don't want to play Bowen up front. I don't want to play Antonio up front. And I keep banging on about this. Okay, we got Danny Ings, but he can't play by himself up front, and Moyes is adamant on playing one player up front. So we need two types of those players, right? I mean, I was watching a couple of players over the weekend who are really the ones that can play up front. Solanke, one or two others. I think the Newcastle guy. You know, they can play up front on their own. They've got the legs, they've got the strength. They're fine, right? But some players not. And the last thing I want to do is buy like an attacking midfielder / winger and trying to play him up front. I mean, please look for a striker, right? So that's kind of on this one. And I think he'll be a good player. I think a lot of teams are after him. I think Brighton tried to get the deal done, didn't quite happen, and Brighton often don't buy bad players. Top of the league flying, and I think we're playing them next, so after Chelsea, so God help us really. So yeah, the deal's getting close, but again, always afraid the club's going to come in last minute, and if we keep taking too long and trying to get a player 1 or 2 million cheaper, sometimes it's important to get the deal done quicker rather than risk losing a player, and yeah, it kind of happens to us sometimes, isn't it? That's on him. This is the Greek international Mavropanos, who used to be at Arsenal for a few years. Didn't quite happen for him there. Then he went on loan a couple of times in Germany. He's with Stuttgart now. I had a few concerns, which the club got relegated. They conceded a lot of goals. The good things are he's physically 6'4", very good in the air, quite strong, and we're looking to do a deal which is much cheaper than a Maguire deal. It's kind of half the price of Maguire. It's 15 million with a few millions add on. That should be announced today, tomorrow. I think, yeah, that's more or less that deal's done. I think Fabrizio Romano did that famous "here we go" whatever he says, which means the deal's virtually done. I'm not sure about him. Hopefully I'm wrong, and hopefully all the sporting director, technical director, scouts have done a good diligence on him. And we'll see how it goes, because there are 1 or 2 other players that I was more kind of interested with. But we'll see what happens. I mean, obviously, as soon as he's a West Ham player, we'll back him, we'll support him, and hopefully he'll settle in well. I think he's right-footed. I'm not sure. Another worry is he's quite comfortable, and more familiar with playing the right-sided of 3 centre-backs sometimes when I was looking at Stuttgart's formation. So in the flat back 4, we'll see how it goes. Because for me, Agard had a terrible game at Bournemouth. He was all over the place, right? And I like Agard, but he's got a lot of things he needs to cut out from his game. He often sort of loses it on the edge of the box. And then there was a lot of misunderstanding between him, Agard, and Zuma. I mean, they're all kind of French, aren't they, with Areola and all of that? So it shouldn't be an issue. So I am worried about that. And Zuma's reliable, obviously age and injury, that's why we're going for him. And then we'll have a contingency of nice 4 or 5 centre-back options, really. So that's with this one. It's going to be done. Hopefully I'm proved wrong, because I'm not super confident in this transfer, but hopefully obviously that's their job. They know more than me, really. So that's that one. This one is could be surprising to you, could be not surprising to you. Maybe it's not been covered enough in the media or by the channels, but yeah. One of the reasons we're obviously, again, pushing for Kudos deal and hopefully one other striker is Antonio wants out. He's 33 like Cressy. I'm just going to say it the way it is. I think they want one more financial contract to make them even more richer than they are. So I think Antonio and Cressy, they're after that last 3-4 year deal that'll take them into, past their mid-30s and beyond, and secure even more their financial future, which is fine. Antonio obviously depends on who we get in the window. We need 1 or 2 strikers alongside Ings, and then I'll be okay with Antonio going out because he's 33. And I do keep mentioning that we need to bring in much younger players. Kudos being 23, Mavropanos about 24, 25. So that's what we need to do. And I think he's come to the end. I think for me, last year in the league he didn't score anywhere near as many goals as he could, and he played like he didn't want to play up front. And I think he's even told Moyes, and even been quite vocal in the media, he does not want to play up front, right? And he just lazes about on the touchline, not really central striker, not visible. A lot of issues, as you know, but that's one of the reasons we are obviously trying to get in 1 or 2 strikers so that Antonio can leave. This one might be a surprise. It's not hugely being reported, but West Ham are just looking at everyone at the moment, acting desperate, and Lukaku's obviously available. I don't know if he's on loan or permanent. He more or less can play that role up front. Obviously his form's been up and down recently when he has played here. Italy, he's fine. The league's slightly lower level, isn't it? And he's happy there, but he can play up front by himself. But obviously any deal like that obviously depends on the weekly wage. He won't be cheap, and any other loan fee or whatever permanent fee they're looking at. But it is a name they're looking at. I'm not surprised, and you can understand, because there's not many people like him, and he's strong enough to hold the ball up, and then with some people around him. So that's kind of the other thing. which I didn't really want to name on the screen or really go into great depth. But Lingard, I think, I don't want to talk about Lingard. He's training, he's getting fit. Like David Moyes said, I don't want to say that he's going to get a deal or he's looking good in training or it's going to happen. I don't really want to go into that. It could, but for me, it's not really a story at the moment. It's not developed enough for me to take it seriously. Palmer, who's the Man City winger, scored in the Charity Shield, scored in that Super Cup, looks brilliant. I don't think that's achievable, especially with Paqueta deal kind of gone. So forget about that for now. I think he's too good unless we get him on loan, which I can't see because City's squad lacking a few numbers and he's performing, so I can't see him going anywhere. The last one is Goku, isn't it? Goku, about 40 million. Not really linked with him, on and off, pacey guy. And then there was that other Wahi, wasn't it? He's gone to Lens, isn't he? So we went quite close to try to get him. I wasn't sure about him when I saw the footage, so I'm not too worried about that really at this stage. I think Kudos, I like Kudos. I'm not sure about that Wahi bloke. Apart from that, nothing else developing. My inkling might be probably wrong. I don't know if Broja deal really late in the day of the window might develop, might get him on loan, because I don't think Poch would want to sell him without really looking at him, but he might be comfortable thinking he's had a bad injury and there's no harm in him going to the Premiership. West Ham are not really going to be Chelsea's rivals for anything top 4, top 5, and he might be all right with that. Whether they sell him outright, I think it'd be a risk to West Ham. A loan deal makes sense for all parties. So keep an eye on that one. And apart from that, I'll keep banging on about it. There are a lot of issues in the air. We haven't seen Agard, obviously. Areola obviously was player of the season when he was at Fulham a couple of years ago. So he has played a proper season and knows the league. And it didn't help him being in and out. But still, there's questions there over his relationship with David Moyes, his confidence levels at West Ham. So again, we've got to keep an eye on that, make sure he gets a really good run of games, and let's just see how it goes. We do need a left back / wing back. We do need a right back / wing back, younger, more quality than Kufal and Emerson that we've got. All right, they can stay. They're in the squad, but we really should be looking for someone better in that position. And obviously, I've said we need 1 or 2 strikers up front. Need a creative player, I think. Maybe who can play instead of Fornals. Could complement Paqueta, really. And then we'll see the team today, whether it's going to be Souček and JWP Prowse, or it's going to be Alvarez, or all 3 are going to play. Or is it going to be 2 to 3? We really don't know at this stage, really. If it's Souček and Prowse, there's not really that many legs in there. They're not really hardcore defensive players. That'll be not good. Alvarez has to be one of the 2 in there. And then Prowse has to be the other one, really. And then we'll see how the rest of it goes. But Chelsea, for me, got a lot of injuries. I think James is out and many others are out. And there could be an opportunity to at least get the draw today. We'll see how it goes. I just hope that we play positivity, get positive from the front, go for the win, put them under pressure, and whoever plays up front really plays up front properly and is a target man, right? Whether that's Antonio or Bowen or whatever. Last thing I want is, which normally happens, is everyone behind the ball, strikers going down the wing, looking up, Antonio's trying to cross the ball into the box. There's no one there when he's a striker. I don't want to see any of that. And I want us to use the ball really quicker and move quick. We're so slow. Give the sort of opposition a lot of chance and time to get back in those attacking situations. So a lot of things in the air, a lot of names being linked, a lot of things we need, and again a few of those stories like Paqueta not really helping the club at the moment. And we'll see how it goes. But the season's it's been good. It's been exciting. A lot of goals, a lot of good teams to watch, a lot of good players. 2 games today, and then we've got the Arsenal game tomorrow. And I felt 2 points lost last week. And if we draw today, then that result doesn't look too bad, does it? Unbeaten, 2 draws. Okay, slow start, but at least we're unbeaten. Then it'll look much better. If we win today, oh my God, then we're joint 2nd or 3rd, I think. Then that looks superb. Then we're up there with the Liverpools and all those kind of teams. So very early days, and it can change quickly, but it can go the other way. If we lose, we're in the bottom 4 or 5, aren't we? And then we're back to what we were last season. So again, a very important game. I know it's a cliche. I hate using it. but I will use it for this one because, yeah, that sets the momentum, doesn't it? Even players joining us, they don't want to play. Well, they might think twice about someone at the wrong end. I mean, that's the reason Maguire didn't join, isn't it? Who I was going to discuss. I mean, Maguire said, I don't want to be involved in relegation battle, according to Sam Allardyce, who's a close friend of the agent. So that's fine. I never wanted Maguire anyway, and he didn't like us. He didn't think we're good enough for him. And he's waiting for a better club. He ain't going to get anyone else. And I don't want people like that. The wrong age is slow. That was a bad deal all around. So thankfully that's gone. Apart from that, I'm not going to take up too much of your time, apart from saying that I will be back with a live show as usual, straight after full time, the Chelsea game. I will be on, so join me then. We'll interact in the chat. We'll go through what we think's happened and that kind of thing. So have a good afternoon, and we'll catch up straight after the West Ham Chelsea full time whistle. Take care. Come on, you Irons.